Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a philosophical text by Xu Feng to really try and understand a fascinating ancient perspective on cosmic fairness. I mean, we've all looked at the world at some point, seen something terrible happen, and thought, come on, this just isn't fair, right? It's a completely natural human reaction. But today, we're going to break down a framework that argues the exact opposite, a perspective suggesting that the universe is, in fact, a perfectly balanced machine. So let's just jump right in with the universal human grievance. From a moment-to-moment perspective, our world looks incredibly unfair. The text we're analyzing today asks a really visceral question. Where is the justice when a genuinely kind person gets into a car accident? Or, when an earthquake strikes a community and causes mass devastation? It's a pretty powerful starting point for our source material because it directly acknowledges our immediate reaction to suffering and the apparent randomness of life. Now, to understand the text's answer to this perceived unfairness, we first have to define its core concept. According to the source, the Tao acts as the ultimate balancing force of nature. It's described as the consciousness of the greatest creator, the driving force behind all movement, the lifeblood of the universe, and the synthesis of all laws. Essentially, it possesses characteristics like eternal reliability and, absolutely crucial for our explainer today, absolute justice. The text doesn't shy away from our daily frustrations. It draws a really sharp contrast, comparing how wealthy, comfortable opportunists often seem to just thrive and exploit the system, while hardworking, kind, and sincere individuals are left struggling with hardship and despair. It's a stark comparison that makes us wonder where the justice is when the bad guys seem to win. But the author points out that if we only look at the immediate present, it's like we're looking through a tiny keyhole. We're literally never going to see the fairness. Part 1. Expanding the timeline. Finding the roots of reality. The author's core argument here is that we suffer and feel wronged because our perspective is simply way too small. To actually see the justice of the Tao, we need to step back. We have to expand our timeline to see the macro view, looking at the entire historical continuum and the vast interplay of actions and consequences. Under this framework, every sudden headache or unexpected disaster in the present day is never a random accident. Every single event has a root. When we trace those roots back, some happened recently, but others happened a very, very long time ago. These are the unseen roots. Our misunderstanding of justice happens purely because we forget those roots from long ago. Because we can't see the origin point, we mistakenly conclude that life is just unpredictable and unfair. And this brings us to a pretty bold claim from the source. According to this framework, karma dictates that as one sows, so shall one reap. The text claims that in hell, there isn't a single unjustly condemned spirit, and in the human world, there isn't a single person who is unjustly accused. This means every single dispute, from massive world wars all the way down to a minor quarrel between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, is a perfectly balanced result of our own actions. The text argues that the universe is in perfect symmetry. Everything is self-created, meaning there's absolutely no point in blaming society, other people, or the universe itself. Part 2. Nature's Great Equalizers. The fairness of mortality and design. So stepping away from abstract philosophy for a second, the author actually grounds this concept in undeniable physical realities that every single one of us shares. Mortality acts as the ultimate equalizer. Whether you're wealthy and powerful, poor and powerless, beautiful or ugly, the ultimate outcome is exactly the same: death. The text argues that placing death over everyone's head is a profoundly fair system. Think about it. If the rich or the powerful were somehow magically exempt from dying, then we could truly complain about a broken system. But under the Tao, mortality catches us all, leveling the playing field completely. Furthermore, the baseline gifts of reality are universally distributed. The sun shines upon everyone, regardless of who you are. The air circulates freely, allowing every living being to breathe without charge. Every person is equipped with bright eyes to take in the world, and love naturally attracts love, bringing inner joy to anyone capable of feeling it. These foundational elements of human existence are handed out completely free of charge, totally regardless of your race, your status, or your bank account balance. The text also views our physical human limitations not as a burden, but as an ingenious form of justice. When you strive to accumulate more possessions, you inevitably experience increased anxiety, trouble, and stress just to manage it all. And why? Because no matter how ridiculously rich you get, the program of Tao dictates you can still only sleep in one bed at night, and your stomach can still only handle a few bowls of rice before you're full. We all face the exact same risks when traveling, and we all have physical limits, meaning more possessions usually just bring more trouble, balancing the scales between the rich and the poor. Part 3. The Trap of Sameness, the Absurdity of Absolute Envy. This is where the author challenges our desire to have exactly what our neighbors have, using some pretty extreme logic. It's a sharp critique of the envy that fuels so much of our feeling of worldly injustice. The text uses dark humor and intense imagery to make its point. If you claim it's unfair you don't have someone else's diamond necklace or their massive mansion, you must logically be perfectly willing to demand their curses too. You have to be willing to contract their hidden illnesses, suffer their broken legs, or even burn to death. You can't just cherry-pick the glamorous parts of someone's life. The author asks, is this justice? To highlight the sheer absurdity of absolute envy. Every single life has its unseen, perfectly balanced burdens. Which leads us to part 4, the cosmic energy balance, the ultimate equation. When you zoom all the way out, all of these micro-examples of fairness ultimately boil down into a single, massive mathematical concept: zero. According to the Tao, zero is the ultimate sum of all positive and negative energy in the universe. It means the universe's accounts are always perfectly balanced. Every individual's cosmic account inevitably balances out over time. All the suffering, all the joy, all the gains, and all the sudden losses, they eventually equal zero. There are literally no loose ends in this system.
So, what does this all mean for us? Well, understanding this perfect zero-sum balance is supposed to radically change how we act today. The text actually states, the more we give, the less we seek, and the greater the ultimate reward will be. By realizing that everything perfectly balances out, we shouldn't feel anxious. We should become calm, peaceful, and clear-sighted. We shift our behavior so that we freely give more and seek less in our daily lives, trusting completely that the cosmic ledger is keeping perfect score on our behalf.
The source text wraps up with this really beautiful maritime metaphor. It urges us not to limit our perspective to the petty gains and losses of yesterday and today, or honestly, even to just this single lifetime. By taking the massive, macroscopic view of the Tao, the author says that no matter how tumultuous the waves of life may be, we can steer our life's ship steadily and safely towards the ideal harbor we dream of. We just have to keep our eyes on the horizon. To wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder as you navigate the sometimes chaotic, yet supposedly perfectly balanced waters of your own life. If every twist of fates, every headache, and every unexpected windfall is just the universe perfectly balancing its eternal ledger, how will you steer your ship tomorrow?